Hi, it's Dick Smith here and I'm bloody angry. I'm going to give you a story of millions of dollars being extorted out of hundreds and thousands of small Australian family businesses and being shipped off to a few billionaires in the United States. It's an outrageous story. Please send this video around to everyone because we can do something about it. Let me tell you the story. A couple of weeks ago, I was listening to Macca on Australia All Over, That's Wonderful show, and a bloke came on who owned a motel and he said,
also, just one other thing, Maggot. You've probably seen this annoying female that runs around and attacks our TV every night telling us it's cheaper to buy online. Just want to let people know that it's far easier. If you contact the motel direct, you'll get a better deal than you will with those guys. And all the money that they're charging motels anywhere between 15 and 30% in commission. And all that money goes overseas. And they're not paying tax in Australia either.
Now, I was incredibly mystified because I go to my iPhone to look up a hotel I key in something like, Mudgee Accommodation, and of course all these other names come up, What If and Trivago and Bookings.com and so forth, and I didn't know much about them. So I've done a bit of checking, and what I found out, you can't believe, it just gets me so angry as an Australian, because what's happening is millions and millions of dollars that should stay in our country towns is being shipped off. And it's like extortion. It's the same as extortion because it's not done in a voluntary way. And these bloody big American companies are not offering us anything. We've been conned. So I'll tell you what happens. It's quite amazing that in the old days, of course, you just go to the Yellow Pages when you wanted to look up a country motel. But if you do it these days, you use your phone, you key in Mudgee Accommodation, and it comes up with all of these organisations. And I did a bit of checking round, and even though there's lots of them, in fact, it's two huge American companies, and they're like leeches because they offer nothing. If you want to book a motel in Mudgee, you can ring them up if you wanted to, or you can go directly to their website. But you won't believe it, 50% of Australians now use these websites because they've fallen for the lie that they're cheaper. And it's almost impossible to find the family business website. You look on your phone and it's got What If, and then there's the name of the family website, but you find it's subheaded Trivago. Finally, if you go about 3 pages down, you find the direct website where you can book directly, get the best price, and the money stays in Australia. Now, let me explain to you what happens when 50% of Australians book. Up to 30%, sometimes more, is sent to these two huge American multinationals that are basically controlled by a couple of unbelievably rich billionaires. Now, they must be laughing. I can imagine one of them sitting in his 100-metre boat worth $100 million in the Mediterranean, and his computer's going ding, 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 ding. And his friend's saying, wow, what's that? And he says, that's the money coming from small Australian towns that's just shipped into me all the time. Hundreds of millions of dollars. By the way, Port Douglas, in 10 years, our small town of Port Douglas says $180 million has gone off to these people. Now, how does it work? Because you'd say, I'll say it's extortion because these country motels have to pay. I remember hearing in the 50s when around King's Cross, all the hotels had to pay protection money to the crime gangs. Imagine that protection money. It's the same thing that's happening now, except it's legalised because in those days, if you didn't pay your protection money, $1,000, $2,000 a week, your premises were burnt down. Well, nowadays, I rang some of these motels and I said, look, why would you want to be paying these huge American multi-billionaire companies 20%? That might be all your profit. And they've said, Dick, we have to. Now 50% of bookings come from these online sites. And if we don't sign up with them, we lose 50% of our business. We go broke. I spoke to a couple of the companies and I said, what do you think of this? And they said, Dick, we absolutely hate it. But if we don't sign up and we don't send the money, basically we run out of our business collapses. Now, these are fantastic little family businesses, and I've always been a supporter of the travel agency industry. I always support an Aussie travel agent because the travel agent spends time in going out and helping you with your bookings and everything. But this is when you just want to call into a country town. My suggestion, by the way, is you lift up the phone and ring the motel directly. But by the way, let me tell you how corrupt this is. The motels, some of them decided to advertise on their website, and you'll find they all have their own website. You can go and book directly. But it's normally on the 4th or 5th page because these big multinational companies have a deal with Google to get a special rate. So they're on the top. When you open your Google up, the companies that go on the top are the ones who have the best deal with Google. And I asked one of the Aussie motels, why aren't you up there? They said, Dick, we can't afford it. And I said, but hold on. It'll have what if, but then your hotel name will be there. Oh, yes, they're using our money to put us up, put their website at the top so they get the commission sent to the United States and we lose. It's absolutely outrageous. What's even more outrageous is this press release which says accommodation industry slams ACCC's secret deal, and it exposes that the Australian ACCC has done a secret deal with these two huge leech companies that are draining the lifeblood out of our country towns. And the deal was it allows these two companies to force on the small motels. And by the way, drought is at the moment. Drought is going on. There's a huge income drop in these country towns, but it's still all being shipped off overseas. The ACCC has allowed the contract to state that the own family website will not advertise cheaper. Imagine that, will not advertise cheaper than what's on the big multinational websites. Now, how can that be in consumer interest? It just shows you the enormous power of these multinationals. It's outrageous. So can we do something about this? Well, bet we can. Now, it's no good going to the politicians because they're pretty well beholden to big business. And in this globalised world, you're supposed to support big business right around the world. But imagine if everyone decides from now on they're not going to be conned by these huge billionaire leech companies that are just sucking money out of family businesses in our country towns. By the way, that money can be used. Imagine if you weren't paying 20% here, 30% there off to America, and you spent the money in the town. You could do up your motel. You could employ the tradie. Maybe you could go back to donating to the football club as traditionally the family motels used to do. All of those wonderful things. So what can we do? I'll tell you what we do. First of all, you've got to send this video to everyone. Make sure it gets 1 million hits, and then tell every Aussie from now on, never book through one of these sites. Never. It's a con. They're not cheaper. That's a lie. All you do is scan down through your phone until you find the direct booking of the motel itself, and then ring them directly or book. And you know what? Believe it or not, if you said, I've seen the Dick Smith video, I want to support the home team, I want to support our country, they'll give you a bloody good price. Might even be cheaper. Sometimes I'll throw in breakfast or something like that because it's incredibly important we support the home team. Now, can you imagine if this video goes right around Australia and suddenly we find instead of 50% of Australians booking country motels through one of these leech sites that are taking money out of our country, it goes down to 30%, then to 20%. Ha ha! We'll be winning. We'll be keeping the money for the home team. And this story will go right around the world that these American billionaires who just steal money out of your country won't get away with it any longer. Yes, please stand up and do something for our own country. It is ridiculous what's happening. It's outrageous. It's what I call extreme greed capitalism. Thank you for watching.